first. Hi, my name is AJ Norton. This video is for my English class and is one of my last assignments before I graduate in 2 weeks. This video analyzes how education has changed by looking at the past, present, and future of my high school, George C. Marshall. As part of the video, I will interview students and teachers to understand where we have been and where we are going. My high school was created during the 1960s when Fairfax County decided it was going to change Tyson's Corner into the center of the universe. Supervisors decided to build Tyson's Corner Mall, expand the roads, and build a new high school. The new school would be made to honor George C. Marshall, who helped win World War II and helped save Europe from communism with his Marshall Plan. Marshall is perhaps known best in pulp culture as the team that lost to the Titans. The school was featured in the Denzel Washington film Remember the Titans about race relations in the 1970s. The Marshall team is the rival to the newly formed integrated football team and is a loser in the big game of the season. I've spliced together all the Marshall school scenes from the movie so you can see from a Marshall point of view that it's better to forget the Titans.
It's the granddaddy of state high school football championships, the Virginia AAA. It just doesn't get any better. We have Coach Herman Boone's Titans versus the legend Ed Henry, with over 250 wins in 30 years.
Shotgun. Who do they think they are, the New York Jets?
Trail Marshall 7-3.
All Marshall has to do is hold on to the ball and they will be the state champions.
While the film depicts the heartbreaking 1971 loss to T.C. Williams, the value of the film is that it documents how Marshall became a sports powerhouse. Equally important is that Marshall established itself as a place for quality education in Northern Virginia. Let's listen to a Marshall alumnus describe her Marshall education.
I feel like I got a good education at Marshall at that time. It set me up for going on to college, and I was really prepared. But these days, they definitely get a better education with the IB classes that they're taking. And, I don't know that I could be in school at this time because of the way, the vigorous courses and stuff that they're taking. I've seen both of my children really sometimes struggle with the courses because they're so intense, but I definitely got a good education. The teachers, it was just like a traditional education. They would lecture or whatever, and I'd be in the back of the classroom. Sometimes I'd fall asleep, but I got good grades, and I did have some really good teachers. There definitely was some good teachers there. One English teacher I remember would really get into all the things that he was trying to teach us and do the different voices and stuff, so it was really a fun class to go to.
Today, Marshall has become electric. After almost 5 decades, Marshall is one of the leading schools in North Virginia and has students from more than 85 different countries. The school has the International Baccalaureate Program, IB, and Academy classes, which are designed to give you a head start in finding a job. The school continues to have all sorts of extracurricular activities ranging from theater, band, and Science Olympiad. So what's changed in education at Marshall? For one thing, it's become more competitive. Students jockey for position by taking courses to position themselves for college. Do you feel, being an IB student, which is a very arduous program, do you feel that you just are forced to take these classes to get the diploma so it looks good on college, or do you feel that you like these classes?
I mean, some of the classes are very interesting. Epistemology or theory of knowledge was probably the only class that I really felt that I benefited from otherwise, but I felt that IB as a whole was probably something that was a little bit too arduous and probably just didn't really help you for American universities, but for universities abroad, I think it was.
Another change is that education has become more informal and personal. Let's listen to 2 Marshall teachers compare teaching styles of today and yesterday.
It's not as, from what I can tell, a little bit less traditional than it used to be.
I guess define traditional.
In traditional, I mean that, you know, teacher in front of the room, kids in the seats, teacher teaches, kids learn. There wasn't much as far as active learning going on. My focus is really on getting young people to think outside the box, to try to apply what they're learning in class to what they're doing in their life today. Not really having to wait until the future to apply what they're getting. And being able to take what they're learning and transfer it to a variety of different avenues and venues and situations in their lives, which I think will be applicable not only in college but beyond.
But it was more so, for example, in English, of having you should understand and know what the general opinion is of this piece of work, this poem. What are these major themes? Not necessarily empowering what your personal opinion is or your personal analysis is of this given work. So that was something that I saw more so here at Marshall. But of course tying that into the IB spirit and community and mantra that we have here.
Okay, again. But perhaps the most significant change is that we are the Facebook generation. We Twitter, tweet, IM, blog, Google, Stumble, and YouTube. Even though we have hyperconnectivity, it's not clear if this helps learning or is just a distraction. In addition, there is a love-hate relationship with the internet technology. Sites such as Wikipedia are discouraged even though they often provide greater insight than our textbooks. What will an education from Marshall be like in the future? This is the hall where George Marshall students graduate each year. I don't have a crystal ball, but there are some things easy to predict. One is that the student population will be even more diverse. Another is the planned renovations will increase the size and modernize the classrooms. But the greatest change may not be from physical improvements, but the way students learn and what they need to learn. Technology is advancing to the point that some classes may be of less value in the future. Do I need to learn French when I can download a translation app on my iPhone? At the same time, technology can permit students to discover things that interest them and increase their incentive to learn. There is an old proverb that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Let's listen to students talk about the use of the search engine StumbleUpon.
That I've learned in like my 4 years of being in high school.
So it's more important to be interested than what you're actually learning.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
It's more important
because
to
you can learn so much more.
Hopeful that we'll begin to see some changes. I think what will drive the change is really a rethinking of the high school model. Right now we've got this model that requires students to...
Perhaps the best person to consider Marshall's future is the head honcho, Principal Pierce.
And then they move on to university or the working world or the military, whatever that next chapter in life is for them. And I think until we really rethink that model, we're not going to see significant changes. I think in terms of technology and its influence, we're already starting to see changes impact high schools, and not just Marshall High School. So with the advent of online courses, I think the physical structure of the high school starts to have a different purpose. In fact, I was at a meeting last week that was dealing with the designs of future schools, and it even raised the issue of whether or not you need a school building like we have right now, 20 or 30 years down the road, if students are doing a lot of individualized learning through technology, and maybe a different role for teachers as well. We lag behind in policy and practice in terms of what we allow students to use. And I tell my administrative team all the time, we can put a lot of energy into sort of fighting these devices, or we can put energy into learning how to harness them and use them as instructional tools. So I think we'll see some significant changes through technology, and that technology coupled with hopefully a change in the model, we can really break out of the I guess the rut that we're in. I mean, the current high school is an old model. It's a 100-plus-year-old model. that was created for a very different time, a very different place in our history. And if we're going to be really serious about school reform, I think we've got to take a look at our high schools and then start to go backwards from there.
So this is my high school bling. Not trying to brag, it's just a way of showing my high school journey. It's been a good journey, but you have to remember it's only 4 years. These awards will soon go in a box and be forgotten. Probably the most important lesson behind all this is while high school does prepare you, you have the rest of your life to go in any direction you want. After all, no one goes around saying George Marshall was a great leader because he got an A in high school history. It's what you do after high school that counts. Marshall has a lot of good things going, but it's not the IB program, not the construction or the use of some advanced technology that make it a good school. It's the teachers who have dedicated their lives to let Marshall students chase their dreams. So what about the future at Marshall High School? As an almost alumnus, I expect great things. And for the Marshall football team, it's only a matter of time before we become #1.